In this video, we talk about the single most important element to the accounting workflow, policy entry. In AgencyPro, the policy guides your accounting postings automatically so that you don't have to. In this tutorial, we will cover a basic policy and review the policy fields and how they affect the accounting. We will cover more complicated policies and policy limits in separate tutorials. Here we are on a new policy detail window. This is where the accounting begins. The policy is divided into two sides. The left side are generally required fields, while the right side are optional fields. It's important to use the drop-down arrows while entering a policy, as some of these fields are required codes designed to correctly post to the accounting. Let's review our policy fields and how they are utilized by the accounting. The first field is type. The options in this drop-down post the same except for the option of quote. You can use quote for detailed prospecting, and the system will hold back accounting, and most of our pre-packaged book of business reports will not report quote entries. Type your policy number in the number field, or perhaps TBD if you don't have a policy number assigned. Transaction is where you would indicate if this is new or renewal business. During your setup process, you might set up company or rep level commission grids that will match against this field. The department you select will guide the commission to the proper account. If this is not entered from the list, you will receive errors upon saving the policy. The coverage class is the line of business for this policy. A suggested list is provided, but you can add to this list by typing in a custom line of business, as long as you have the Show All Coverage Classes option marked on the Setup tab. If I wish to add to the list, I first review the existing list carefully to make sure it's not already there. Then I shrink the list and type in my desired entry. Notice the Limits button to the left of the Coverage Class field. Limits are covered in a separate tutorial. This is an important element to our functionality, as this is where you enter the detailed coverages that pre-fill to your accord forms, and where you go to get the policy coverages report. The effective date field should always be the effective date of the transaction you are entering. If this is an endorsement, it would be the date of the endorsement. On a cancellation, this would be the cancellation date. In this case, it is simply the effective date of our policy. You can either type in the effective dates in proper formatting, or you can select the date from the calendar. The effective date is typically the due date of the policy. There are some exceptions to this rule, which we will cover in a moment. The easiest way to enter the expiration date on your policy is by clicking the calendar icon. This will automatically annualize all but personal auto policies, which will guess a semi-annual term by default. Choose the billing company from the company dropdown. This is the company that you pay on an agency bill policy, or that pays you commission on the direct bill policy. If you are writing this business through a broker, you would select the broker from this dropdown. If the company is not available from the dropdown, you can zoom to the company database by clicking the button to the right of the company dropdown. The writing company field is the only optional field on the left side of the policy. This is where you can enter the carrier you want to fill to the accord form if you are writing this policy through a broker. Click the drop-down, and if the carrier name is not present, simply shrink the list and type them in. If this field is labeled Broker MGA, please see the Getting Started tutorial on writing company versus broker MGA. The policy status must be open for the policy to post. When you use the program renewal or cancel options, it will automatically change to status closed on the affected policy. Type in the pure premium in the premium amount field. This is the gross amount minus any fees or taxes. Now let's move to the right side, or our optional fields. You will notice as you fill these fields out, the teal fields populate with calculated figures. The agency percent of premium is the commission rate on the policy. Much of the time, this pre-fills from company commission grids or past terms of the policy. If you have a flat commission amount or a mixed commission rate, you can remove the percentage and manually enter the commission amount in the teal agency commission field. If this is agency bill, then the commission will correctly split the accounting between the company payable and appropriate commission account. If this is direct bill, this agency commission is the amount you will receive from the company, probably in the form of a commission statement. The rep fields are where you can assign commissionable producers to the policy. These reps must first be set up in the employees area, where you can also enter default commission percentages. The percentage entered in first and second rep percentage fields will calculate against the agency commission. The total commission will display in the teal field at the bottom of the policy. Just like the other percentage fields, you can remove the percentage and type a flat amount in the teal rep commission fields at the bottom of the policy. The resulting accounting entries for a listed rep will be between commission expense and the rep payables account. If you are removing commission, make sure that you also remove the value in those teal fields. Many agencies are tempted to enter their agency as a commissionable rep. We suggest against this, as a policy without a rep is reportable as house business, and false rep commission assigned would incorrectly reduce down the reported profit if not handled correctly. Notice that the non-premium items is a teal field, meaning it is automatically calculated. If this policy has fees and taxes, enter these by clicking the non-premium items button and listing those entries in the non-premium items window. The grids type field offers a drop-down where you can access the fees and taxes you have set up in the program. These types are individually coded to be either income or payable entries. We will talk more about setting these up in the Getting Started section. Suppose this policy has 3 non-premium items, starting with a $100 policy fee. We choose the appropriate type and enter the amount for the fee. The finance field can be marked as true to divide this fee up amongst an agency bill installment schedule. Otherwise, just leave this field blank. Leave the paid field blank, as this is a system field that will change to true when the client has paid enough to pay off the non-premium item. Either tab through the end of the first line or use the keyboard down arrow to get a new line, and we will enter a $25 surplus lines tax. The last line we enter is the $50 agency management fee, which is set up as an income item and will be retained by the agency. We click OK to close the non-premium items, and the total of these items is calculated at $175. The total due is the premium plus the non-premium items. In an agency bill scenario, this would be the amount you would bill your client. The rest of the fields on the right side have to do mainly with installment billing, meaning you are billing your client in installments. We will go over these settings in greater detail in the installment billing tutorial. If you are not billing installments, simply leave the installment type and number of payments fields blank, and ignore any entry in the installment amount field. The first payment date is used to indicate the first installment when installment billing, but this field can also be used to modify the posting date. For instance, in the case of an audit, the effective date and billing date might be very different. Most agencies enter the original term expiration date in the effective date field of an audit, but enter the billing due date in the first payment date field so that it posts to the accounting in the current term. The last field on the policy detail window will change based on the policy's billing method. An agency bill policy will have a paid directly to carrier checkbox option at the bottom of the screen, which enables you to write off the premium due from the client to the company payable. This is a very common practice on a finance cancellation, where the finance company handles all the return premium directly, leaving you simply owing commission to the carrier. You will see us use this option in some of the general accounting workarounds. If the policy is direct bill, a DB reconciled field displays at the bottom. During initial policy entry, upon saving the policy, the program automatically enters a no in this field, indicating no commission is yet posted to the policy. If commission has been received in part against the policy, you will see a yes displayed, and when commission is paid in full, it will display as an R. When done, click OK to the policy and make sure to pay attention to any messages displayed. The policy will now post to the accounting based on your billing and accounting method. We hope this general policy overview has helped you develop a better understanding of the fields on the policy and their effect on the accounting. This is just the beginning of the workflow. Continue on to our other tutorials to see more about the accounting workflow and how to handle general workflow exceptions.